Just a tiny bit of housekeeping before we get into what is more than likely, but it's really, really tough to make a definitive statement in today's day and age that this right here, obviously the first former president to be indicted on criminal charges, you would think that that's going to be the biggest story going into next week, but everything that we dealt with last week, it's really tough to say. But like I said, a little bit of housekeeping, okay? And addressing specifically over on Rumble, I'm incredibly sorry for not being able to go live over there. I did just repost the vlog, or the sorry, no. For the people on YouTube, if you were looking to go back and relive that absolute disaster that was last night, okay? The video itself, it's whatever the hell it was. I just had more, I had a much better time engaging with everybody in the chat than everything that went on with that, okay? For picking an interview that ended up getting copyright claimed. The stream got taken down twice, and then I can't even monetize this stupid thing, so I did that to really just chill with everybody. Apparently, in retrospect, that's what I have the best time doing over there anyways. But I do have a make good in store coming up on Wednesday, and we kind of sourced that out last night. Wednesday at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, so that will be the same time that we would on Saturday. We will be going live on Rumble, because I found out, okay, because the way that I stream and the way that I record all the videos is with OBS software. Everybody else that you see, pretty much all of the other YouTubers, they use whatever StreamYards or whatever it is, okay, and they all have that uniform look when it comes to that stuff, and it just kind of makes me sick to my stomach. But that's the way that they stream out to multiple different platforms. But there is a plugin, and there is a way in order to stream to multiple different areas. I'm going to try to get Twitter working, but I'm not entirely sure if that can go. But we will at least for sure 100%, even if it means not going live on YouTube, we will be going live on Rumble, because shout out to the guy who was in the chat last night who brought this to my attention, Vice. Vice has been doing these weird panels when it comes to, like, there's one on masculinity, which we might look at here. Maybe next Saturday. We'll see what ends up happening. But they've also done the roundtable on feminism. Was that specifically on feminism? Pearl from from Just Pearly Things, and the stupid TradCon grifter Sydney Watson. She was also on that panel as well. That one that might be a good tag team of roundtables to take a look at. But that's for the future. But going back to what I was saying about a good man that was in the chat down there, you know, just chatting it up with everybody. Vice, apparently, a day after the Nashville shooting, dropped a roundtable discussion on gun control. I think we'll probably be going live with that one if there isn't anything wild in regards to this Trump situation over on Rumble. So we're going to be going live, I think, for the foreseeable future, twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. I think that'll be a good balance for everybody, because when I initially put out the idea that I kind of want to stream on something, Saturday was the overwhelming victor, and sometime during the week was also, it had a pretty good showing out for that as well. And I'm always just looking to transition and do, not like that, but transition and do some different and evolving things on the channel. And hey man, going live outside of last night's clusterfuck, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun. And then going live on Rumble, I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully you guys join me for that, and I'll be making sure that I make mention of that every single video that I do that's going to be going live before Wednesday, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 9 out east, 6 out west, 8 in the central. I think we got a good, and since we got a good and understood, here is the big story heading into the week. Trump is apparently going to be surrendering. He's going to be surrendering to Alvin Bragg's Justice Department in the lower Manhattan area on Tuesday. And he's also been making some other statements as well, and it's getting interesting, to say the least. So court officially confirms details for first hearing in Trump criminal case. Now, this is also going to be a state case, which means there's going to be television cameras rolling inside the courtroom, which means Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, take a back seat. If there's going to be a formal trial in regards to this, holy son, oh my god, I'm very interested to see what goes down on this one. But let's not put the cart in front of the horse quite yet. By the cart, I mean the case, and by the horse, I mean Stormy Daniels. Court officially confirms details of first hearing in Trump criminal case. Yes. So, what do we know so far? Okay, former President Donald Trump's first hearing will take place on April 4th. April 4th would be Tuesday? It'll be Tuesday. A court spokesperson confirmed on Friday. All right. Trump is set to appear at 2:15 p.m. So for me, that will be a quarter after noon. Okay, and for you can go ahead and suss it out appropriately. That's Eastern Standard Time. Before New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan, a spokesperson for the Epoch Times, a spokesperson for the Epoch Times via email. A hearing will be open to members of the public and the press on first-come, first-served basis, the spokesperson said. The hearing will not be live-streamed. What the fuck? So just the hearing. Like, the court case, because it is a state-level case, that will be streamed. Unless, of course, there's a special motion that is put before the court. I can see the Trump side of this wanting it to be televised because, obviously, everybody and their mother, including Jeb goddamn Bush, thinks that this is a political prosecution. Like, he tweeted this out yesterday. Yeah, this would have been yesterday. Okay, Bragg's predecessor didn't take up the case. The Justice Department didn't take up the case. Bragg first said he would not take up the case. This is very political, not a matter of justice. In this case, let the jury be the voters. Yeah, exactly. And it's odd. It's odd, okay? Because he also, with his first statement on the situation, doesn't mention Trump by name. Who else did that as well? Oh, but we'll get to him very, very shortly. Trump has been indicted by a grand jury for the reasons that are under seal. Yes, but once the grand jury indictment gets unsealed, then we'll see the formal charges. All we have is just leaks and ideas so far, but it seems like everything's getting crystallized. A spokesperson for the office of the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, a Democrat, you don't say, said in a statement that it is now coordinating with Trump's attorney to surrender to the Manhattan DA's office for arraignment on a Supreme Court indictment. Bragg had been probing a payment from former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen to adult performer Stormy Daniels, who has alleged Trump had an affair with her. Trump had denied the claim. Cohen has said he spoke to the grand jury. So did Daniels, and so did, David Pecker. I know, try not to laugh when you hear his name, but he was the former editor-in-chief at the National Enquirer, or maybe he was the owner. Like, he was a high-up that was there. So everybody that was involved in some form or fashion and keeping, theoretically, like, this is all just alleged, but they're also, testifying under threat of perjury, which never ends up getting prosecuted unless, of course, it's a highly politicized case like this. If and when this does go to trial, because there's statements made from the Trump side that he's not taking a plea deal, which, of course, he's not going to be taking a plea deal. He wants to see this play out in public for the world to see. So if this doesn't get live streamed, it's going to be at the request of Alvin Bragg's office, which is going to make this prosecution look even more sus. Trump's attorney, Joseph Tacopina, previously said the legal team was working out on the details of the former president's first court appearance in the case. He's angry and disappointed. He's ready to fight. He's a pretty tough guy. His knees don't buckle, so he'll be ready to go. Yeah, we know all of that stuff. I just want to see Trump in court, and I just want to see him scowl every time that somebody walks up and starts lying on the stand. I think that'll be hilarious. I just want this to be live streamed. Not for the fact that it's going to make for just really easy views. Like, okay, I'm a fairly integral guy. I'm incredibly honest when it comes to my life in front of the camera. I'm just saying, it's like that is the easiest slam dunk when it comes to anybody talking about politics in regards to views that has ever been offered. Unless, of course, YouTube just decides to start shadow banning everybody who's independent and then just continue to push all the mainstream narratives, which is highly likely because I showed you guys yesterday. And thank you very much for the support on the video that I did on my second channel being deleted for no good reason. Still haven't heard back from YouTube, by the way. It's almost like I don't exist. Fantastic stuff. But the video that I did, an hour, not but an hour, no more than 2 hours after the news initially broke. I think it was like 90 minutes by the time that I hit publish, and 250 views. I don't think it's gone up a single view since that video dropped. And yeah, no, the old plateau happened. Oh yeah, it's going great, and then Yeah, directly dead off a cliff. Fantastic. Stop putting impressions out there. I could run the numbers back, but it probably looks exactly the same. 85 to 90% of the people that watched it are already subscribed to the channel. Outside of that, we don't need to push it because he doesn't say that Orange Man's bad and he doesn't mean it. But let's get some background on the judge first and foremost. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out because I know this might seem inauthentic, but I mean it truly and completely. The amount of support on the live stream last night and on that video as well. I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't really sleep all that well last night because I thought that the stream last night was so poor and also channels getting deleted. But we push on because I'm a man of my word and we have 3 videos every day that needs to go up, and well, I need to record additional content because going live on Wednesday, no, the way that it works out, because it is Easter, and yeah, it is Easter, well, Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday next week, so it kind of throws everything off, and normally Wednesday is a pretty low-key day, and it would be a perfect day for streaming, but the end of my week ends up messing up, because that Friday is normally the day when I go out and I do a bunch of different, personal stuff as well, but because most things are going to be shut down on that Friday, that moves up to Thursday, which is normally my batch recording day, so then that becomes Wednesday. Everything gets shuffled around. It doesn't affect you guys at all whatsoever. You're still going to have the exact same content. It's just, I got to do some extra stuff here today. So my mind's just kind of all over the place right now. Case in point, right? But yes, let's, some background on this judge here. Okay, McCann is the judge who oversaw the case of Alan Weiselberg. That sounds familiar. The former chief financial officer in the Trump organization. That's why it sounds familiar. Trump said in a statement that McCann hates me. He hates me. I don't know why he hates me. He has a personal vendetta against me. I can't believe it. He's not a good guy. He's a political actor. He's one of those radical left Democrats. I can't believe it. He's the judge that they pick. Unbelievable. They do this to your favorite president, me. I can't believe it. And the judge railroaded Weiselberg. The strong-armed Allen. Oh, he strong-armed Allen. Okay. Which a judge is not allowed to do, and treated my companies, which didn't plead, viciously. The former president wrote on a social media platform, Truth Social. Weiselberg was hit with 15 felony charges, including tax fraud. He pleaded guilty and testified against the Trump organization and another Trump company. Yeah, of course, you get hit with 15 felonies, even if you didn't commit them. You just take a look. Okay, what's the plea deal? Misdemeanor, 6 months in club fed, and all you need to do is just cooperate. Sounds good to me, as opposed to potentially, 20 years behind bars. So Weiselberg received, 5 months of prison, but McCann warned him that he could face additional jail time if he did not adhere to the plea agreements, CNN reported. I didn't even know that, and I already knew that. So there's all this stuff set up in place for this upcoming Trump trial, which I can't believe is a thing in 2023, but here we are. All of the testimony, all of the backing evidence in order to support the claims that Alvin Bragg has brought to the grand jury, all requires the testimony and the jury to believe guys that have lied. That's very interesting. That's almost like if you have an assault charge that you bring in a trial and your star witness is Jussie Smollett. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. And especially after he's slated to surrender to charges. Trump to address the nation on Tuesday night from Mar-a-Lago just hours after arraignment. Like I said, I already have a soft date for the Rumble live stream that we're going to be doing on Wednesday. It'll still be live streamed on YouTube as well, or at least blasted over there so that everybody knows that we're going to be going live on Rumble. We might have to run this back if it's exceptionally spicy, but anticipate that gun round table. Anyways, Trump to address nation on Tuesday night from Mar-a-Lago just hours after arraignment. It's going to be wild because he's supposed to be arraigned in Manhattan. So the first court date on April 4th at noon. And then he's going to fly back down. I guess it would be 2:15. And then within 6 hours, he's going to be back in Mar-a-Lago to speak in front of the podium. Okay, for stupid outlets, for mass media outlets down there to say that Trump is lazy, bruh, within 6 hours, he's going from New York to become the first former president to be hit with criminal charges, to go back down to Florida to deliver a speech that the world is going to be watching. Yo, man, there's only one person that could do that, honestly. Former President Donald Trump will hold a speech on Tuesday night at his Mar-a-Lago resort, a senior 2024 campaign advisor confirmed on Sunday morning. Advisor Jason Miller confirmed on Newsmax on Sunday he would deliver a speech at his Florida residence. So it's still Mar-a-Lago at the end of the day. And after he is arraigned by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg following a grand jury indictment last week, Trump is going to be giving a speech on Tuesday night at Mar-a-Lago, 8:15 p.m. I think the entire world will be watching just how strong and great, how fervent he is, that we must continue this Make America Great Again movement, because you can't have Trump policies without President Trump, especially when he is the leading candidate. Like, there is absolutely no question about it, because we have some numbers. We got some numbers. Trump surges to the biggest lead over DeSantis in first poll after indictment by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. How big is it? Former President Donald Trump has surged in the polls following news of his indictment on Thursday and now leads Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Oh, excuse me, he hasn't declared for presidency yet. Oh, but you know who has and is the only person who could possibly dethrone Nikki Haley is the first person out of the running. Asa Hutchinson. You know who Asa Hutchinson is? Yeah, no, neither does the voting public. No. He was the former governor. He got termed out of Arkansas. One of the biggest rhinos that's out there. And he decides that he's going to be, he's well, like 70-something going on 9,000. The dude looks older than Biden, for Christ's sakes, and he's going to be the change that the Republican Party needs. Bruh, you would have been a great candidate for the GOP back in '88, but yo, man, those neocon pockets run deep, apparently. 57% of those polled by, which poll is this? Okay, so he leads DeSantis by 26 percentage points. Yo, 57% of those polled now support Trump in the upcoming Republican primary in the head-to-head contest with DeSantis, who garnered 31%. Yo, what the? Yo, that's through the floor, and that's a YouGov poll. Now, it's weird, right? It's incredibly weird, because I look at all of these polls that come out that just have these enormous margins between the two, and they're all of these leftist polls. Like, we got that Harvard-Harris one, Quinnipiac, and they all just favor Trump so hard. And then you compare and contrast that with the results of elections past, and they've just been off so much. But when it comes to polling primary candidates, like, you're polling registered Republicans, so maybe it's a little bit more active and a little bit more accurate, if you will. And then specifically, like, if you take a look at the polling that they do for a Democratic primaries, it's normally pretty bang on, but I haven't seen any, corollary numbers when it comes to Republican candidates in primaries. But it's just weird to see all of these polls, like YouGov poll, man. It is so slanted left. It was, I think, one of those polls that's rated like B- or maybe a C+. Like, it is absolutely dog water, but it falls in line with just about every other poll that's out there. Like, Trump's in the 50s, and when it comes to the entire field that's out there, DeSantis is the next closest, that maybe the high 30s, low 40s. Like, it's not even close at this point in time, and just the lead continues to grow because people aren't stupid. They can see the world around them just crumbling down, and they don't, as much as mass media wants to tell you that the average person has brain rot, they can remember to compare and contrast their lives now in 2023 as opposed to what was going on in 2019, the last year of general normalcy. Things were quantifiably better in 2019 across the board for just about everybody. And while Ron's done good things in Florida, can't take that away from him, he's also kind of a buttery bitch whenever it comes to making a strong statement on things that aren't just easy to quash. Like, yeah, okay, good. You think that we shouldn't cut off kids' penises. Good job, Ron. We shouldn't cut off kids' penises. Oh, wow, you think that parents should make decisions about what their children should learn in school? Thank you, Ron. Children should hear from their parents as to what they learn in school. Wow, you want to make sure that Disney doesn't have its own laws to self-govern itself in its own special district? Don't read too deeply into what actually happened there with the law. Just Ron likes to campaign that I took on Disney. Did you win? I took him on. Fantastic stuff. But what are you doing? Because we heard his initial statement. I thought it was good, but it also didn't address Trump specifically. Basically had that exact same Jeb energy when it was, yeah, this is a bad thing. And, shout out to Olivia of Troy. I have no idea who this lady is, but she perfectly encapsulates Jeb Bush. Please don't do this. Please be better than this. Please clap. That's that exact same energy. And he's one of Ron DeSantis' biggest supporter. And his old man, HW, is Ron DeSantis' political idol. Great stuff that he has down there. But don't worry. Hey, man, Ron's up there in New York right now, okay? Hey, he took the red eye out and he flew on out to New York for a book event. His book, that is, oh my God. Do I still have that? Because we looked at that on Saturday. I want to see what the numbers are in this one. Maybe he's just out there because, he released a political book like every other hack that's out there. If it's just, oh, no, it is right there. I'm going to tell you guys. Okay, so he's got untold biography. Who is Ron DeSantis? Where's his actual book? Yo, you search Ron DeSantis book in Amazon, and it's not even close to the first thing that pops up. Is it, not even on? Oh, there it is. Yo, I can't even show you how far down the list this is, but it's a bestseller, all right, and it's still, for a Canadian, okay, for the hardcover version, $43.50 for, 200 and some 288 pages. Get the fuck out of here. But it's a New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller, Amazon bestseller. You know what else is? And it was a much better read. Why Women Deserve Less from Myron Gaines. That shit was fucking great, but it's probably still charting better than this abomination. Oh no, it's actually up because it was in the 2000s. The 2000s of overall books. Now it's only 1,770 in all books total. But it's still number one in United States politics, number one in government and political science, and number two in United States biographies. Yo, is it behind the Obama book? No. Civil War. Oh, but that's a $2 book. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'd give Ron number one because a $2 book, come on, you just throw that in. That's like an impulse buy at the fucking checkout. If they had that there, it'd be like, oh, that's a nice piece of paper. I'll just go ahead and put that on there. It's been like 99 cents American. That hardly counts at all whatsoever. So yeah, it's number 3 in all of those TradCon categories. So you know what? A definite shoe-in and good bet just in case Trump ends up getting railroaded, because we all know this isn't the final shoe to drop whenever it comes to Trump being indicted for some stupid charges. Still have Georgia waiting in the wings. That grand jury already met and convened, and the 4-person went out there on mass media interview circuit doing her weird Gollum impression. Yeah, I just want to meet with Trump. Yeah, that rat lady. But then also the classified documents investigations right back down there in Mar-a-Lago, where Trump is going to be talking on Tuesday night. That one's interesting because we also, on the video after the leak of the indictment came out last week, we took a look and figured out, okay, is this going to have any implications when it comes to Trump running and being able and eligible for office in 2024? It creates a very different scenario with that classified document situation, because there's a couple of charges that are on there, and I'd really have to brush up what those charges actually are that are on there that are being floated around. They add additional provisions that can't have you hold office in certain parameters, where certain people could look and interpret it that, yeah, he can't actually hold political office. But then in the other aspect, okay, he can't hold one aspect of it, but then at the same time, because the president is also the commander-in-chief when it comes to the armed forces, he can still hold that position. So it takes a very delicate interpretation of the law when it comes to that. Like I said, I'd have to brush up on all that stuff, but that's the one that just throws a wrench into the works, where it's like, oh, okay, all of these political prosecutions, okay, Trump has documents. Yeah, but Biden had 1,700, I think, it grand total across his 8 different places. But because Trump had some stuff locked up at Mar-a-Lago, they had to break the lock that they put on the door at the request of the National Archives. Like, bro, you're dealing with the president who has full and total declassification abilities. So then that puts that idea to the test, and it'll ultimately be a decision that'll have to be interpreted by the Supreme Court. How far does the declassification power of the president run? What are the parameters? And they're going to have to decide on that if there is any movement on that, which we are highly likely to see very, very, very soon. And maybe that's why. Maybe that's why DeSantis, I don't know if he's getting some information or something like that, but maybe that has something to do with him going on the book tour up there to Manhattan. But yeah, he's being hosted tonight at an event tonight. Okay, yeah, so what does this say? Ron DeSantis to fly to New York for a book event tonight, so that would have been last night, so Saturday evening, by Dark Money Group, just 2 days after Manhattan DA indicted by President Trump. Well, who's the Dark Money thing? Okay, I legitimately don't need to see that. Speech at the Cradle of Aviation and Museum in Garden City in Long Island, billed as an Eventbrite as his Florida blueprint. Interesting. Going up to New York, where you campaigned for one person and he fell flat on his face. All right. DeSantis in 2022. DeSantis is making an appearance as part of a book tour for his Courage to Be Free, Florida's blueprint for America's revival. Oh my God, that sounds like something that would come out of the Hoover Institute. And a book tour has been widely seen as a soft launch for the governor's expected White House run. Yeah, it all seemed to correlate because there were a couple of people that were in, I think it was Iowa last week or the week before, where Trump was having a speech and DeSantis shadowed him over there. Oh, I'm just doing a book signing, where 2 people show up. Fantastic stuff. But then also in Pennsylvania, and I think he shadowed him there as well. And then New York. This is just the most obvious example. No, I'm just here for a speaking engagement. Sure thing. And you're also there to hear for an appraisal on a bridge in Manhattan. Like, come on now. Geraldine Zotani, a spokeswoman, for the Aerospace Museum, said that her institution did not plan the event, but it was organized by And to the Republic. Politico reports that And to the Republic is a nonprofit 501c4 group, a distinction that is broader than 501c3, and is supposed to promote social welfare. What? Okay. A type of nonprofit does not have to discuss its donor information, but can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money advocating for policies it supports. Oh, so he's getting a Hillary Clinton style payoff. And I like Ron DeSantis, sort of, kind of. The more that I hear about this guy, the less that I actually like him. And again, like, he crushes cans exceedingly well, but whenever he's put with a stern test in front of him, he kind of wilts. And then he also has the charisma of a dish towel. Like, if it's anybody but Biden on a debate stage against him, he's not going to come off looking good. He's not. But okay. The group hosted 3 events for DeSantis after his launch in February. What? Okay. Interesting. Okay. A person close to the group said they were proud to host the events today featuring Governor Ron DeSantis to put a spotlight on the state policies that are working and those that are clearly not. According to the events listing, Governor DeSantis created a blueprint for freedom, blah, 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 just a bunch of neocon talking points as well. But yes, that was one of those things. Yes, a former New York Republican candidate for governor and also for the chair of the RNC. I wish he would have won that, man, but no. You got Ronna Romney McDaniel, which is also indicative of, because that stream that we did a couple weeks ago at this point in time, where we took a look at the Piers Morgan Ron DeSantis interview. One of the things that Ron made a concerted effort in order to point out was, I did so much good fundraising, not meaning to mention that Mitch McConnell stuffed his coffers with multiple millions of dollars. But yeah, no, he's a really good fundraiser. And then you take a look at these groups that back and support his book tour that also have the ability to spend unlimited amounts of money on campaigns. So are you fundraising a lot of money from a bunch of different sources or from specific areas? I'm just wondering, man. And yes, to just circle back around to Lee Zeldin for a second, given the fact that he lost the nomination, or did he? I don't think that he ran, but he really put some teasers out there. It was Harmeet Dillon who was running specifically against Ronna McDaniel. But it's a moot point because, yeah, Ronna just waddled back into that position. Oh, and I said that her last name was McDaniel. No, it's Romney. She's a niece of Mitt Romney. And she controls all the purse strings that made sure that Ron DeSantis' campaign was well financed. But we had such a historic victory over Charlie Crist, where his first campaign speech was, if you voted for Ron DeSantis, I don't want your vote. Very stiff competition that you had down there, Ron. Again, crushed that can by 20 points. But now you're the one getting crushed by 20 points. How are you going to dig out from under that rock? Wait for all the charges to drop on your opponent and then just coast in, only to get beat down by the system where you're thinking, oh, I thought everybody plays fair up here. This is federal politics, my boy. You have no idea what you're dealing with. But like I said, man, this should be theoretically the biggest story of the week. But then again, we also didn't foresee a tranny shooting up a Christian school, and then all of a sudden guns bad and trans day of vengeance. Yo, man, it was a wild week, and I think chances are we're going to be in for an even wilder one. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.